Hello and welcome, you brilliant, beautiful, and probably slightly paranoid human beings. Ever feel like you are navigating a life-sized maze where all the walls are funhouse mirrors and someone else is holding the map, the controls, and a megaphone they use to tell you that the maze does not even exist? That is not just a bad dream after too much spicy food. That is the everyday reality of emotional manipulation. It is the slimy, invisible art of making you do, think, or feel something that serves someone else's agenda, not your own. We are not talking about the obvious stuff, like a villain in a cape tying you to train tracks. No, this is far more subtle, the kind of psychological warfare that makes you thank your captor for the cage. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on 7 of the most common, most toxic, and frankly, most pathetic manipulation tactics out there. We are going to dissect these slimy tricks so you can spot them from a mile away. Think of your friend who, after you pay for dinner, for the 5th time in a row, looks at you with wide-eyed innocence when you mention splitting the bill and says, "Are you okay? You seem really stressed about money." Suddenly, you are not the generous friend, you are the cheap, anxious one. That, my friends, is the game. Let's learn the rules so we can refuse to play. First up, we have the undisputed heavyweight champion of psychological abuse, gaslighting. This is not just lying. It is a diabolical magic trick designed to systematically dismantle your sense of reality until you believe you are the one who is broken. The term comes from a 1938 play where a husband flickers the gaslights in their home, and when his wife notices, he insists she is imagining it, making her think she is going insane. Gaslighting is the art of flipping your reality like a cheap pancake. It is your boss who, after explicitly promising you that promotion in a meeting, looks you dead in the eye and says, "We never had that conversation. Your ambition is making you hear things." You walk away, not angry, but terrified, questioning the very integrity of your own mind. In a relationship, it is the partner who screams at you, then 5 minutes later, says with unnerving calm, "I was never mad. You are just too sensitive and you always overreact." Suddenly, their rage is not the problem. Your perception of their rage is. The goal is simple and sinister: to erode your confidence in your memory, your perception, and your sanity, making you more dependent on the manipulator as the sole arbiter of truth. It is the ultimate power trip, turning you into a puppet who cannot even trust the evidence of your own eyes. Next on our list is the emotional bludgeon known as guilt tripping. This is the manipulator's guilt hammer, a tool they use to smash your boundaries by weaponizing your own conscience. Let us be clear, there is a difference between someone genuinely expressing their hurt feelings and someone manufacturing guilt to control your actions. The latter is not an emotion. It is a transaction. It is the classic line from a parent. "After all I have sacrificed for you, you will not even call me back right away." The subtext is not, "I miss you." The subtext is, "You are a bad child if you do not comply." Boom. You feel a pang of guilt and immediately adjust your behavior. A friend might pull the, "If you were a true friend, you would lend me that money." No questions asked. Suddenly, the focus is not on their poor financial planning, but on your loyalty, which is now on trial. It is an incredibly effective tactic because it hijacks our natural desire to be good people. We do not want to be seen as ungrateful, selfish, or disloyal, and manipulators know this. They dangle these labels over our heads, forcing us to prove our goodness by giving them what they want. It is a subtle form of blackmail, where the ransom is your compliance, and the thing being held hostage is your own self-image. Love bombing. This one feels fantastic. Right up until the moment it does not. Imagine you are dying of thirst in a desert, and someone does not just give you a glass of water, they try to drown you in a fire hose of it. That is love bombing. It is the tactic of overwhelming you with intense, often inappropriate levels of affection, flattery, and attention right at the start of a relationship. It is the partner who, after 2 dates, tells you, "I have never felt this way before. You are my soulmate." They shower you with gifts, constant communication, and future faking, painting a beautiful picture of your perfect life together. It is intoxicating. You feel seen, adored, chosen. But it is a trap. This over-the-top performance is not genuine affection. It is the manipulator laying down bait. They are studying you, learning your insecurities, your dreams, and your weaknesses. Once they feel you are hooked and emotionally dependent on that high, the switch flips. The constant praise turns to criticism. The endless attention becomes cold silence. The soulmate who puts you on a pedestal now makes you feel like you are constantly failing to live up to their expectations. You become so desperate to get back to that initial euphoric stage that you will do anything they ask, tolerating behavior you would never normally accept. It's a classic bait and switch, turning admiration into ammunition. Now, for a tactic that is deceptively powerful because of its sheer emptiness, the silent treatment. This is not the healthy, I need some space to cool down conversation. Oh no. This is a deliberate, calculated withdrawal of communication, used as a form of punishment and control. It is an invisible ninja attack that is often louder and more painful than any screaming match. Your partner, after a minor disagreement, suddenly becomes a ghost. They will not look at you, speak to you, or acknowledge your existence. You are in the same house, but you might as well be on different planets. The silence is a vacuum, and your brain, desperate to fill it, goes into overdrive. What did I do? Was it that joke I made? Did I load the dishwasher wrong? Is it over? You start replaying every recent interaction, becoming your own detective and prosecutor. This psychological torment is precisely the point. The manipulator uses silence to create immense anxiety and guilt, forcing you into a position of begging for forgiveness, often for a crime you are not even sure you committed. By the time they finally deign to speak to you, you are so grateful for the connection that you will likely concede to anything just to make the silence stop. It is a passive-aggressive masterpiece of control, making you feel powerless, insignificant, and desperate. Let's talk about a particularly cowardly move from the manipulator's playbook: triangulation. This is the art of pulling a third person into a two-person conflict to bolster the manipulator's position and isolate the victim. It is the ultimate. It is not just me. Everyone thinks so. Maneuver. Instead of dealing with a conflict directly, the manipulator creates a triangle, with them and an ally at 2 points, and you, the target, at the third, very lonely point. For example, you have an issue with your partner's behavior. Instead of discussing it, they say, "You know, I was talking to my mother, and even she thinks you are being completely unreasonable." Bam! Now you are not just in a disagreement with your partner. You are fighting their mother, too. You are outnumbered. It is a tactic to invalidate your feelings by creating a false consensus. It is used in friendships. "Well, I told Sarah what you did, and she is just as shocked as I am." This forces you onto the defensive and makes you feel like your perspective is crazy or abnormal. The goal is to destabilize you, make you doubt your own judgment, and pressure you into submission by making you feel like you are the odd one out. It is a power play that avoids honest communication by recruiting outside forces, turning a personal issue into a public trial where the manipulator is both prosecutor and judge. Welcome to the mind-bending paradox of projection. This is the psychological trick where a manipulator, unable to face their own uncomfortable feelings, flaws, or wrongdoings, literally throws them onto someone else. It is like they have a bag of emotional garbage, and instead of dealing with it, they just dump it all over you and then blame you for the smell. It is a defense mechanism on steroids, used to preserve their fragile ego. The classic example is the chronically unfaithful partner who constantly accuses you of cheating. They are so consumed by their own guilt and deceit that they project it outward, seeing their own behavior in you. This serves two purposes. It relieves their internal tension, and it puts you on the defensive, distracting from their own actions. The laziest person on your team at work might constantly call you lazy. The person who lies with every breath they take will accuse you of being untrustworthy. They are essentially holding up a mirror to their own soul, but telling you it is your reflection. When you find yourself utterly bewildered by an accusation that seems to come from another planet, take a moment. You might not be dealing with a rational complaint. You might just be the unwilling screen for their personal horror movie. Finally, we have the terrible tag team, the dynamic duo of deflection, playing the victim and diversion. These two often work together, like a crooked circus act. First comes the victim card. You confront a manipulator with their undeniable, hurtful behavior. You have evidence. You have examples. Instead of taking responsibility, they immediately flip the script and claim that they are the real victim. Their hurtful comment becomes, "You are just so critical. You are always trying to hurt me." Their lie becomes, "I only did that because I was so afraid of how you would react." Suddenly, you find yourself in the bizarre position of apologizing to the person who hurt you. Their performance of pain is designed to trigger your empathy and make you drop the issue entirely. If playing the victim doesn't work, they bring in the clown, diversion. This is the art of changing the subject with the speed of a startled squirrel. You say, "We need to talk about how you lied about our finances." They reply, "Speaking of finances, do you remember that time in 2015 when you bought that expensive jacket without telling me?" What? It is a conversational smoke bomb. They introduce an irrelevant topic, a past grievance, or a hypothetical problem to get you off track. Before you know it, you are defending your 5-year-old jacket purchase, and the original issue of their financial lie has vanished into thin air. It is a masterful, if infuriating, way to ensure they never, ever have to be held accountable. So there you have it. A whirlwind tour of the psychological dark arts, from the reality-bending horror of gaslighting to the deflective circus act of diversion. These tactics all share a common goal: to subvert your will for someone else's gain. Recognizing them is the first, most crucial step toward neutralizing them. Knowledge is your shield. When you can put a name to the game, you take back the power. You are no longer lost in the funhouse. You can see the mirrors for what they are. You can recognize the guilt hammer before it strikes, and you can see the love bomb for the bait it is. Awareness transforms you from a participant in their drama to an observer of their tactics. This allows you to disengage, set boundaries, and protect your own mental and emotional space. You are not being too sensitive. You are not crazy. You are not imagining things. You are being manipulated. And now you have the field guide to prove it. Protect your peace. Trust your gut. And never let anyone convince you that their reality is more valid than your own.